Beneath the sands, under the waves, and carved into forgotten stone, clues whisper of a world that existed long before ours. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, Mount Padang in Indonesia, cities lost beneath the ocean, and megaliths too vast for explanation, all hint at something extraordinary. Could it be that our civilization isn't the first to rise, but merely the latest? History may not be a straight line. It may be a cycle. And somewhere, buried deep in time, lies evidence of a chapter humanity has forgotten. For 300,000 years, modern humans have walked the earth. But the story we tell, of civilization beginning just 6,000 years ago, covers only a tiny fraction of that time. Everything before that is silence. Yet ruins, artifacts, and myths across the planet whisper that this silence hides something more. This isn't about conspiracies, it's about discovery. Today, we'll journey through 10 extraordinary clues suggesting that ours may not be the first great civilization. In the dusty hills of southeastern Turkey lies Göbekli Tepe, a site so ancient that it rewrote archaeology itself. Built more than 11,600 years ago, long before cities or agriculture, it challenges everything we thought we knew about the dawn of civilization. Massive T-shaped pillars rise from the earth, arranged in perfect circles. Each stone weighs several tons and bears carvings of lions, vultures, snakes, and abstract symbols whose meanings are lost to time. The builders were supposed to be nomads, small groups of hunters and gatherers, yet they came together to build a structure of breathtaking scale and sophistication. And then, mysteriously, they buried it. Carefully, deliberately. Why would its creators hide their masterpiece beneath tons of earth? Was it ritual? Respect? Fear of something greater? Göbekli Tepe forces us to rethink the timeline of human achievement. It stands as the first whisper that advanced, organized societies may have existed long before history officially began. Göbekli Tepe was once thought to be unique, but then came a revelation. Scattered across southeastern Turkey, archaeologists uncovered a network of similar sites known as the Taş Tepeler, or Stone Hills. Karahan Tepe, just 46 kilometers away, revealed chambers, pillars, and carved human faces emerging from the bedrock. Other sites, Nevali Chori, Hamzan Tepe, and Sefer Tepe, share the same distinct architecture and symbolism, suggesting that Göbekli Tepe was only one part of a vast cultural landscape. These discoveries change the story. They prove that hunter-gatherer societies could organize, coordinate labor, and design monuments on a scale once thought impossible. Even more astonishing, many of these structures align with celestial events, solstices, equinoxes, and constellations. It seems our ancestors not only built together but observed the heavens together. The Stone Hills network marks a turning point, evidence of complex belief systems, community effort, and knowledge that predates agriculture itself. Civilization, it seems, may have begun with spirituality, not survival. On the island of Java, Indonesia, a lush hill called Mount Padang hides a mystery that could rewrite history yet again. At first glance, it's simply a terrace of stone columns. But when researchers scanned below the surface using ground-penetrating radar and seismic tomography, they discovered something extraordinary. Layer upon layer of hidden structures and chambers, extending deep into the earth. The top levels date back about 3,000 years, but the deeper layers are far older. Some samples suggest 8,000 to 20,000 years. If true, Mount Padang would be the world's oldest known pyramid, built long before any known civilization. The claim sparked fierce debate among scientists, especially after a 2023 study dating the site to 20,000 years was later retracted. Yet the evidence of deliberate construction, terraces, walls, and hollow chambers remains undeniable. Even without consensus, Mount Padang stands as a symbol of possibility. Whether 3,000 or 20,000 years old, it reminds us that somewhere in humanity's deep past, extraordinary builders once shaped the earth and then disappeared. When the last ice age ended, melting glaciers raised global sea levels by nearly 400 feet, swallowing vast stretches of ancient coastline. If early civilizations lived near the sea, as most people do today, their cities now lie hidden beneath the waves. Off India's coast lies Dwarka, long described in Sanskrit texts as the legendary city of Lord Krishna. For centuries, it was dismissed as myth until divers discovered stone walls, streets, and artifacts resting on the seafloor. Some date back over 7,000 years, suggesting the legend might have roots in reality. In the Mediterranean, Pavlopetri near Greece and Atlit Yam off Israel show intricate urban layouts preserved underwater. Homes, courtyards, even wells. These were thriving communities erased by rising seas. If these are only the few we've found, how many more remain lost beneath the oceans? With less than 10% of the seafloor explored, the next great discovery may not lie on land at all, but beneath the deep, waiting to tell the story of the first cities humanity ever built. In 1986, a diver exploring near Japan's Yonaguni Island stumbled upon what looked like a massive staircase rising from the ocean floor. Sharp edges, straight walls, and flat terraces stretched for hundreds of feet. Some saw nature's hand, but others saw something else. The ruins of a forgotten city. The Yonaguni Monument is now one of archaeology's most divisive discoveries. Its geometric formations, broad platforms, right angles, and what appear to be steps and corridors suggest human design. But skeptics argue it's simply a natural formation shaped by shifting tectonic plates and currents. Still, certain features, like what seem to be carved symbols and tool marks, keep the debate alive. If Yonaguni truly is man-made, it could date back more than 10,000 years, when lower sea levels would have left it above water. Contemporary with Göbekli Tepe. Natural or not, Yonaguni reminds us that the boundary between myth and history is fragile. Beneath the ocean's silence, even the rocks themselves seem to hold secrets of worlds long gone. Across continents, far from one another and separated by millennia, ancient builders moved stones of impossible size with precision we can barely match today. In Lebanon's Baalbek, 3 limestone blocks, the trilithon, each weighing nearly 800 tons, were set perfectly in place, their edges flush, their balance exact. In Peru, the fortress of Sacsayhuaman stands as a marvel of craftsmanship, massive polygonal stones cut and fitted so tightly that not even a blade of grass can slip between them. At Pumapunku, near Lake Titicaca, perfectly carved interlocking stones suggest knowledge of geometry, symmetry, and cutting methods far ahead of their time. How did they move and shape such immense material without metal tools or wheels? Some propose ingenious use of ramps, ropes, and manpower. Others suspect forgotten techniques, perhaps even knowledge passed down from cultures older than we realize. Whatever the answer, the megaliths remind us that the ancient world was not primitive. It was ingenious, determined, and capable of feats that still defy modern explanation. Long before written history, our ancestors told stories, not just to entertain, but to remember. Across cultures, from Greece to Egypt to the Americas, myths echo the same warning: a great civilization lost to flood and fire. Plato's Atlantis, the Egyptian tales of Zep-Tepi, and the Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia all speak of worlds destroyed in a single catastrophic moment. Even far across the oceans, indigenous peoples tell similar stories of rising waters, sinking lands, and survivors who carried knowledge into the new world. Could these tales be distant memories of the younger Dryas, when glaciers melted and sea levels rose with terrifying speed? Perhaps myth and memory merged, passing through generations until they became legend. These stories are not evidence of fantasy. They are echoes of truth, fragments of collective memory describing cataclysms real enough to reshape continents and erase civilizations. In these myths, humanity remembers, not just its triumphs, but its near extinctions. Archaeology depends on what survives, but time is a merciless editor. Stone endures, but everything else, wood, metal, cloth, knowledge, vanishes. Imagine our own world 10,000 years from now, skyscrapers collapsed, machines rusted, books long gone. What would remain to prove we once existed? This is the challenge of uncovering prehistory. Nature erases relentlessly. Earthquakes bury cities, volcanoes entomb them, rising seas reclaim coastlines. Entire civilizations could have come and gone, leaving almost nothing behind but a few inexplicable stones. Even in our own time, we've seen how quickly human achievement fades when left to weather and decay. The farther back we look, the fewer clues remain, and the louder the silence becomes. That silence isn't emptiness. It's a reminder of how fragile civilization truly is. Every monument we find, every temple, pillar, or shard, is a survivor. It whispers through the noise of time, telling us that we've forgotten far more than we've discovered. Roughly 12,000 years ago, as the last ice age ended, Earth experienced one of its most violent transitions, the Younger Dryas event. In a geological instant, temperatures plunged, then soared again. Ice sheets melted at staggering speed, sending floods across continents and raising sea levels by hundreds of feet. The world changed almost overnight. If an advanced civilization had existed then, cities, trade, temples, it would have been obliterated. Only myths would remain. Around this time, we find stories of great floods everywhere, in Mesopotamia, in Mesoamerica, in India, even in Aboriginal Australia. Perhaps these weren't coincidences, but memories of survival, the evidence of sudden global change, crater fields, meltwater pulses, and extinct megafauna all point to massive environmental upheaval. Maybe our ancestors lived through an age-ending catastrophe, one that reset humanity's progress. And perhaps that's why civilization seems to appear suddenly, almost miraculously, around 10,000 years ago. Not as a beginning, but as a rebirth. Each discovery, Göbekli Tepe, Mount Padang, Dwarka, Baalbek, doesn't confirm a forgotten empire. It does something more important. It questions certainty. For centuries, we believed civilization had one origin, Mesopotamia, 6,000 years ago. But evidence scattered across the globe whispers of deeper roots. What if civilization didn't start once but many times, rising, falling, and rising again with each age of the Earth? Perhaps our ancestors reached heights of knowledge we can barely imagine. Not in technology, but in understanding nature, the stars, and the cycles of time. And when the world changed, when floods came, when fire reigned, only fragments remained. We are not the first to look at the ruins of the past and wonder who came before. Maybe we are the latest inheritors of a story far older than recorded history. A story still unfolding, one discovery at a time. History isn't finished. It's still being written, still being uncovered. Each new dig, each sonar scan, each buried artifact adds another line to humanity's unfinished epic. The mysteries of the past aren't there to confirm myths, but to awaken curiosity, to remind us that the line between legend and reality is thin. Perhaps somewhere beneath the soil, the sand, or the sea lies proof that civilization has risen more than once. Until then, we keep searching. Because the story of who we are didn't begin 6,000 years ago. It began long before, in ages lost to memory. And every discovery brings us one step closer to remembering. So stay curious, stay humble, and never stop asking, what came before us, and what might come after?